Hey everyone, Hobo4Crafts, aka MrHobo here, and we're gonna have another fruit dealer game as promised, and this time he is facing the STC. Both really solid players. This is in fact FruitSeller, aka Fruit Dealer. I wouldn't be lying to you, and I don't know Korean. I'm pretty sure this is Korean, almost positive, but not positive. But we got a nice little face right there. I'm assuming this is just some friendly banter going back and forth. If not banter, then small talk. Nice weather we're having in Korea today. Yes, I agree. And hopefully it's gonna be a good game. If you haven't watched already, we just saw the two GSL players play. We saw Fruit Dealer versus Hope Torture. And that was definitely a solid game, pretty quick, but definitely solid, excuse me. And we're going to get a 10 supply depot at the ramp right here. So we're definitely going to be seeing block off going here. For Hope Torture, we actually saw a nice block at the bottom of the ramp on Scrap Station, which is definitely a risky move because he chose to block it with a command center and a barracks. Barracks. Barracks? Yes, barracks. And that didn't really work out for him. But hopefully it will be different this game and we'll get a little bit longer of a game. We've got 14 drones already out for Fruit Dealer, and if my senses are correct, he will be 14 hatching. Oh yes, he will. He loves that. Yes, he will. He will be 14 spawn pooling. He loves that 14 spawn pool. But seriously, most of the games I've watched him play have been a 14 hatch, but it looks like he's mixing it up a little bit right here. And actually, it's kind of surprising because on a large map like this, I would feel a lot more safe to 14 hatch, but he could be trying some kind of trickery. Nope, it looks like he just wanted to get that pull down before the hatchery, so that's totally acceptable. Nothing wrong with that, Fruit Dealer. Just keep going on your mighty way. And it looks like we had a standard build over here as well. Already had that refinery down, and the command center is a tiny bit early. We actually got it at around 15. Normally you see it at 16 or 17 at the latest, so that's kind of interesting. And it's just going to be interesting to see how this game plays out. We are getting that factory already, so we could definitely see a reactor go down here and then a swap between the two buildings and double pump out Hellions. We could see a fast tank push. Anything is possible on Metalopolis, and I definitely do like this map. Oh, we're getting an extractor out right now. We not going to get that speed very quickly. That's something that I do worry about. I always love getting that speed out right away just to stop any kind of Hellion or harass or just any fast push from the Terran as well. It's so hard to stop Marines even, just because they can kite your Zerglings, and it's just so annoying. But like I was saying earlier, what was I saying earlier? Wow, I've just gone on so many tangents. One interesting thing about the Fruit Dealer is that he doesn't really like to what's the word I'm looking for? To swap over his drones to, saturate. That's the word. Thanks, guys. He doesn't like to saturate his drones over to his expansion after it's finished, and we are getting that Roach Warren, hence the delayed extractor. So we could see an early aggressive push from Fruit Dealer, actually, which I do not agree with, especially because we are cross spawn on Metalopolis. Really big, really long time to get cross map, especially with roaches, which without that reconstruction, glio reconstruction, they're just so slow. Or glio reconstitution, actually, excuse me. But the first Hellion is out, and it looks like he's not going to go and try up the ramp. He's actually going to go for these drones right here. Maybe he'll pick off one. Yes, he does pick off one drone right here. We could see two. Oh, and he goes into a spine crawler at the last second. Got a little micro magic coming from Fruit Dealer here. He definitely is a very fast and creative player. He's very precise like most Koreans are, but he is just... Alright, I just lost my train of thought completely, so I'm just going to talk about this Reaper, which just got dominated by these 4 roaches, and he is actually going cross-map. It looks like maybe he's just going to try and stop. Maybe he's going to try and check something out. I don't really agree with it, and he is pulling back, in fact, and we did have a couple Hellions come in here. It looks like we've lost 4 drones already. That's going to be 5. Make it 6. possibly even 7 or upwards of that number. Oh no, it looks like the roaches come back just in time, and that's why you have to keep your roaches close to home. Otherwise, you're gonna get some reapers in your face, and that's why we have 7 burnt drone bodies on this creep. Poor little drones, but I would like to see these bases connected via creep with a nice creep tumor right here or here, just because it helps your mobility between bases. Especially, this is especially important when you're having your Terran opponent harass you like we're seeing right now. But 4 barracks is on the map right now for STC, and he's definitely going for a heavy Marauder build, we can assume, just because he has so many tech labs. But right now all we're getting is stim pack, so we're gonna see a little bit of a timing push. It looks like he's moving out right now. He doesn't even have any medevacs or anything. Oh, we have a nice block off right here. That is pretty indeed. But the Zerglings would have to go all the way around. But yeah, we do not have any Marauders coming out for the 2 tech labs that we have down. And meanwhile, we only have 4 roaches over here. Maybe Fruit Dealer has committed too hard to drones right now in the early game, which is a trap that a lot of Zerg players fall into. It looks like this drone was going to make a hatchery, but no longer, for it is on fire on this nice little field right here. It looks like we're gonna get possibly a lot of drones taken out right here. It looks like 4 or 5 drones were taken out with those 2 Hellions. I'm sure they had over 10 kills combined at least, so they have been doing very well in their lifetime. I would like to see a Baneling's Nest go down. That would be very good to stop this early push, which I'm sure that Fruit Dealer will scout out in a little bit of time. You can see he is ahead in the Harvester count, and he was just about even. That's because of the mules helping so much the economy of the Terran, as always. Oh, and sneaking by the Marines, being able to scout. Very nice play right there. We're seeing a tech lab on this factory. Are we gonna have an armory go down? I don't see one, and I don't see one on the production tab, so I'm assuming just tanks for the moment. I've got a nice little spread of overlords. This is important to do so you can see if Vikings are flying by, or maybe a medevac is flying by for a drop. So that's definitely a smart idea, and we do get a comsat down on this hatchery going down right here. And like I said in my other video, like Hydra, we do see that Fruit Dealer is a very macro-intensive Zerg. That kind of sounds redundant, macro-intensive Zerg, but some Zergs are just more aggressive than others and don't like to wait behind. But we don't have any Banelings whatsoever, and we're going to get a good amount of Marines right up here, and they do have stim packs, so this could be bad news. We actually do have infestors, but they just now are getting enough for fungal growth. So if we get 1 or 2 down, yes, they will be able to, and all these broodlings from the dead hatchery are now coming in, and these roaches are cleaning up with all the damage that was done by the fungal growth. And it looks like the medevacs came just in time to heal up and try to compensate for that damage that all that fungal growth did. But a good reaction by Fruit Dealer, just barely lost that hatchery right there. And the broodlings nobly coming in to help out. Oh, and so annoying having your creep tumors being taken out and having used more energy. But we did get a fungal growth go down. Oh, and he lost an infestor. That's such a blunder because of all the gas that it costs. Oh, infestors are so gas heavy. Oh, but he was able to fungal growth this medevac right here. Will he be able to get it with these infested Terrans if he puts down another fungal growth? Yes! He was able to get it by a tiny mismicro. Oh, excuse me. Tiny mismicromanagement by STC. It makes me cough just thinking about it. Oh, wow. But in the meanwhile, we have 2 tanks that have come out, double pumping out those medevacs with that reactor. And actually, Fruit Dealer has been surviving with relatively a low amount of units, but we did get our drop come in the back of the base as well, and they will just be getting fungal growth. These Marines are going to die. These infested Terrans are like, alright, we're ready, but nothing's there. So that kind of stinks, but a nicely placed Overlord right here. Probably got a little bit of a foresight to see that medevac come down, but like I said earlier, that's why it's so important to have your Overlord spread out across the map so you can catch this kind of thing. Oh, it looks like we're going to get a big push here from STC at this point. He's bringing in the 4 tanks, and I do believe he does have 4 medevacs. 4 tanks, 4 medevacs, and he has 24 Marines and a couple Marauders. Does not have concussive shell at this point, so they're kind of useless. It's debatable, but they definitely do a lot of damage to those roaches and even infestors, so that's a good thing. We finally do have banelings at this point. Had to rebuild his spawning pool, and he's getting 2 of them at this point. He doesn't have that baneling speed, so that could definitely hurt him. And these tanks are just doing so much damage with that comp set that went down. He was able to have sight, and he gave a lot of hits to these infestors and baneling as they were running down this ramp. So that's a nice play right there. All this creep is retracting and is just dying away. Oh, and let one of his infestors just go to complete waste, and he's going to have to be really quick when these tanks on siege. He's going to have to move in. That's going to be the key time, and unless he bunny hops them, which would definitely, or leapfrogs them, excuse me, which would definitely be trouble. But bringing in the Marines, he does realize that he is in an awkward position right now, and he wastes a lot of banelings, all of his banelings on those couple Marines. These tanks did take out a couple, using these medevacs very well by STC to get that sight that is necessary for those tanks to do all that damage. STC just playing with this position very, very well. And, oh, we even had a unit over here. I'm not sure what it was. It might have been a tank that was sieging up. Would have done a lot of damage. And we're getting all these drones moved over to the safer expansion, I do believe. Or maybe they're just going to be used as cannon fodder. We're getting a couple of fungerals scoring down. So much damage being taken by the infestors, and all the infestors are dead at this point. There were about 6, and they all have died. In an instant, these tanks have just cleaned up, and these medevacs now just healing all these damaged Marines, and the stim pack is going out flawlessly, just doing so much damage, and there's really no opposition to them at this point. I think that Fruit Dealer has just been caught at a point where he's making too many drones and trying to be too macro intensive instead of going for that key unit composition that he didn't need. One baneling did go off, and it did hurt a good amount of those Marines right there, but oh, it's just not looking good whatsoever for this Zerg player, Fruit Dealer. And he does leave the game with, oh, and there's the GG right there. Well, that was definitely a good game. Oh, wow, we had a lot more units coming in from the STC, excuse me. So definitely a solid game. And, yeah, I think, like I said earlier, Fruit Dealer just was too macro intensive when he should have been building units to get rid of this, to get rid of the drops and get rid of the push that was inevitably coming. It's kind of sounds basic and funny, but it's really often you see Zerg players die just because they don't have enough units. They don't have enough stuff. So hopefully you guys can take away a lesson from this. If you're a Terran player, then just do this. Or if you're a Zerg player, make more units when you feel that push coming. Or if you're a Protoss player, well, sorry. But hope you guys enjoyed, and I haven't rambled too much. And I think my dog just sneezed. HoboForcraft signing out.